podcast, we have some amazing authors, Chetan sir, Kawal Deep ma'am, and Chhavi ma'am. And today we are going to discuss regarding the topic involving voice, how modern writing styles are changing the literary landscape. So first, I'd like to introduce our author, Chhavi ma'am, who is an author, public speaker, and also founder of Young Adult Launchpad. And our second author is Chetan sir, who is well known for his books like Win-Win Situation and many more. And third, we have Kavaldeep ma'am, who is her book related to opium industries are well known in the writing section. So welcome all. So first, uh, please, Kaval ma'am, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. And thank you, Sakshi, for this opportunity. I think this is wonderful to connect, to collaborate, as you have already mentioned in the script. So I basically am an academic writer, so as to say. I haven't as yet touched on other genres. So it's basically academic writing, very formal and with very, and catering to a very limited kind of an audience. So definitely I would have a lot to learn when I, have an opportunity to listen to Chhavi ji and Chetan ji. So I look forward.
Chetan sir, few words about yourself.
My name is Chetaan Joshii, and I've been writing for the last 20 years. I have got 7 books published. 2 of them are short story collections. One of them is a novel just now that is published called Twin Win Situation. Then I have another novel which was published called Literally Yours. It is set in the Jaipur Literature Festival. It's a love story. And it's a very nice thing to have been able to get a chance like this to interact with other writers from different genres and different sectors. So it'll be great talking to you. Sakshi, thank you. Thank you so much.
And Chhavi ma'am, please give us a brief introduction about yourself.
Sakshi ma'am, thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity. And hi, everybody. So I'm an author and a public speaking coach. I'm basically a writing coach. So what I do is I help and encourage kids to write their own storybooks, and I help them and get it published also. So I feel the pen is still mighty, but now it speaks more like a friend. Books are more friendly to us, the way we express ourselves. So that is why, and reading and writing is also becoming exotic these days. Even adults, even children, they're not keen into reading and writing. So I'm on a mission to encourage people to get into this habit and just enjoy life. Thank you so much. I'm sure that I'm going to learn a lot from this podcast. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. So let's dive into the discussion. So my first question to all of you is, in your opinion, what are some of the most significant changes you have seen in modern writing styles, and how do you think these changes are influencing readers? So first, let's hear it from Chhavi ma'am.
Well, I think it's a profound question and has a lot of weightage, which is paramount in today's time. So I feel today's writers, they don't write the way we used to do it 50 years down the line. Earlier, the stories were full of long descriptions, heavy vocabulary. And what is it now? Now, writers are using simple words and they talk like real people. And the beauty and the impact when they talk like real people is really profound. They actually feel connected. It is more like a conversation. So
Yes,
people
ma'am.
are enjoying these days, these short, crisp stories. I also feel like that books now they are more like a friend talking to us. And books are no more a teacher giving you lectures into details and stuff. I think this new way, which is from classic to which has become too conversational, is really amazing. And this helps people to connect more with the stories, especially with the young readers. And it's rightly said that pen is still mighty, but now it speaks more than like a friend. So books these days are really friendly, and I think everybody's accepting this new fact, this new way of reading and writing.
Yes, ma'am. So true. Chetan sir, please.
I have a different take. I agree with her. But I have a different take on this, that writing has become quicker because it is just now competing with other media, such as OTT platforms, then reels, where things are to be told quickly. People want to get to know get to the bottom of things in a very short time, so they do not want to meander through words. So that is why writing has become more pictorial. So something like writing a screenplay, where everything is put in descriptions are also short, but they're vivid. That is what is happening, because people, but that is causing another problem. That is, people are not using their own imagery while reading something. They're not using their own imagery. Writers are also turning that way. So they are not giving new imagery. They're not giving a chance to the reader to come up with his own imagery. That is one issue. And the other is, there's this popular trend of having sequels, part one, part two, part umpteen. So after one novel comes out, immediately after that success, that novel becomes a success. There comes another novel of the same writer, part one, then part two, and part three. So there are these parts which are coming in.
Yes.
This is good in a way that that's helping readers continue reading. I mean, they compel readers to read. That is one thing. But that also means when you come out with part one, two, three, four, five, you are also shelving certain other ideas which would have become other novels. But since you're writing more and more sequels, what is happening is new ideas are being shelved or kept for later writing. So immediately, just now this thing happened with me when Twin Win Situation, my latest book, when it turned out to be quite successful, it's doing well just now. The first question people ask me is, are you coming out with a sequel? Then I tell them, no, I have other stories to write. This one you can reread if you want. And maybe after 8-10 years, if I feel, I might come out with another one. But till then, I would work on new ideas. So these two things, one is people are writing shorter stuff, and on the other side, they are elongating the experience of the first book into trying to put it in the second book and the third book. So that is the trend that I can see. That is the change I've seen. Earlier, we didn't have so many. At the most, people had trilogies. Trilogy was the biggest book. So that is what I see as a change.
Thank you, sir. Kawal Deep ma'am, please.
So, my take on this would be something between what Chhaviji and Chetanji said. Yes, I believe, whatever the change in the literary landscape is basically a reflection of the changes that are happening in our society, in our culture, and in our technology. So, as Chhaviji rightly mentioned, there's a lot of experimentation going on. And Chetanji said, yes, but I would, slightly like to disagree with Chetanji, because I think there's a lot of focus on immersive storytelling, a lot of personal narratives being told, a lot of emotions being expressed. I think, and there's an increased focus on diversity and representation. Also, I see a lot of, hybrid genres coming up. So I think it's a very exciting time with a lot of, technological, also technology also impacting content that is being created. So I think it's an exciting time for writers.
That's so true. So such a fascinating insight that I'm saying. Yes, sir.
May I add one point to this? Is it possible?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay. About the changing trends, I would want to add one more thing. That is, writers from non-English writers. I mean, writers from other languages of India, they are coming to the forefront now because of translations. So lots of writers from, say, Kannada, Malayalam, Tamil, then Marathi, they are coming into English. So we can get regional flavors which were, I won't say absent before, but they were in minimum, they were marginal in earlier times.
Yes.
Now translations are coming in, they're adding to the rich texture of writing nowadays.
Yes, sir. So moving to the next question. How has your own experience with collaboration, whether with fellow writers, mentors, or readers, shaped your work, and how important do you think it is for modern authors to encourage in this kind of community? So let's start with you, sir.
Okay. As far as collaboration is concerned, people have a notion that a writer sits in a corner. He sits there alone, facing a wall or a blank page, and he writes on his own. and then he comes out with a story, and voila, you've got a novel which is a blockbuster or some kind of a story like that. That is not how it happens. Whenever I write a story, it is always a collaboration, in the sense that first I compose the story and I bounce it off with friends whose opinions I trust. I read it out to him or her, I tell the story, and over there itself, the first draft starts taking shape in my mind. So the story, whatever lacunas it might have, those start getting filled up over here, and the story starts taking a shape which has a recognizable form. Then I write it out, and I speak to some friend who can help me with the editing. So it is always a collaborative process. That is one thing. I have two experiences regarding this. One of my books called Animal Palette. It is a graphic book which I had written the stories, and I had collaborated with artist Tejas Modak. So
Yes.
his drawing was interpreting my story in a pictorial way, and my words had to give justice to his writing. So it was a collaboration of different art forms. It was a lovely experience there. That was one. And the second one is literally yours. It's a love story set in the Jaipur Literature Festival. And I had written it with a co-writer called Asha Francis. She's a writer from Bangalore. I had written it with her. The collaboration was online. She was in Bangalore at that time. I was in Pune. All our interaction took place on either the phone or the computer, emails. And she used to write from there. I used to edit it over here. I used to write and she used to edit. This also caused a lot of fights when I locked off lots of passages that she had written. She locked off some of my passages which I had written. And it actually enriched the story, where there are 2 points of view which raise the story over and above the cumulative skills that we have. So
Yes.
it actually makes the writing richer. I think collaborations like these are absolutely a wonderful way to enrich your writing.
Yes. So true. Chhavi ma'am, please share your experience.
Well, I'll just, vouch on 100%. I'll vouch on what Chetan ji just said. It's actually a collaborative effort. Every book that comes out, one with the writer is the experiences. That's a preconceived notion in their head. Whatever experiences they come up with their stories in such a beautiful way. Number two, I feel the environment also teaches us a lot. All these stories, they arise from where? From other collaboration, people around us, or whatever lessons we learn from it. But what I would like to add on here is writers today are breaking the rules. They said many writers today, they break the rules of writing. In what way? What are they doing? They are directly connecting with the readers, which is the most beautiful part these days. They write in such a fun and surprising way. All the characters also, they're picking up from the live audience. So my recent book, that is The 7 True Tales of Triumph, it's an anthology with 7 young adults. It's real 7 stories which has just come alive. And these real stories, I interacted with a lot of people, and I wanted to bring this notion of to the youth, especially to the teenagers, young adults, that there's something beyond giving up. There's something beyond failure. So the theme of my book is fighting back, resilience, grit. And from where did I got these stories? From collaboration. I asked my readers, I took options, I took their opinions, and then I picked up 7 stories, 7 people, and then all these 7 stories I compiled in my book. So what is happening? It's more of an interaction. It's a conversation, and it's doing pretty well. So everybody's liking the idea. So collaboration, yes, it's absolute a big game changer, and I think it's just working wonders.
Yes, ma'am. That's so true. So, Kawal ma'am, share your experience, please.
Yes, much of what I really want to share has already been, elaborated by Chetanji and Chhaviji. But because my genre is quite different, it's strictly academic in nature. So my experience has been, yes, as Chhaviji mentioned, ki collaboration is, you're not only, you're talking to people, you're interacting, it's your experiences. You might be collecting them from whatever, connections that you have from nature. It could come from society. It could come from some very personal experiences that you might be having. But in my case, my 3 books, the one is on almost all of them have a historical context. So they are set in the period from 1800 to the time to one of them is till 1959. And
Yes,
then the other one, yes, and the other one on opium consumption experience in India. It's from the earliest to contemporary times, and then the Ghazipur opium mint. It's again from 1820s to the present times, because it's, yeah. So it's like, it's a very long, long period, and my collaborators have been the archives. So that is where I get my biggest source of inspiration, my biggest source of knowledge, and much of what I have written in my books has been collected from the archives. And yes, it has been this, I think the collaboration in my context would basically be with the archives, with the books, not so much with what is happening. Yes, contemporary, I have been speaking to my visits from the opium fields to the opium factories to research labs to de-addiction centers. Yes, that has a lot of it has been incorporated. So I think collaboration is like, you just can't write without having to collaborate with something or the other. So yes, it's a collaborative effort.
okay. Such an insightful answers from all of you. So moving ahead, I want to ask, as we look ahead, what do you see as the future of writing? How do you think new technologies platform will help in shaping this kind of literary landscape? So first, let's hear it from Kawal ma'am.
A lot of it has already been happening. As I mentioned, a lot of AI generated content is coming. So there will be, AI and human beings are going to, become co-creators at some point of time. A lot of immersive storytelling is happening, a lot of diversity, a lot of experimentation. So I think the literary landscape is already very exciting. It's very dynamic. It's evolving. And I think there's more accessibility, and as Chetanji also mentioned, it could be social media, it could be because of technology that, writers are now very quick. They have, that has facilitated writers in so many ways. Earlier, you see, you would have just one or two writers, in our times, even whether it was vernaculars or whether it was English literature, we only knew a few of them. But right now, there's so much of interesting things that are coming up. As Chaviji mentioned, she's working with children, and there's the way they have been, talking about themselves, the emotions, and a lot of experimentation with the way storytelling can occur. So I think it is already evolving, and it will only grow and help the authors more. Yes.
Yes, that's so true. So Chetan sir, please share your thoughts.
What I think is, just now the writers, the people who are writing just now, we are living in a cusp where only humans used to write, and now there is a chance that machines will take over at a point. We are in a cusp just now. We can see this side, we can see that side. But having any commentary just now on AI would be like trying to describe an unseen monster or an unknown god. So we don't know. We don't have to take a biased look at anything. What I think is, this will be the biggest challenge now. Today's writers have the biggest challenge. They are not competing with each other. They are going to compete with those people or those kind of machines which will take over story writing, as it seems to happen, seems to be sometime soon. The only people who will survive as writers will be those who are original. Yes. So writers with original ideas, which are not a mishmash of other ideas, which are not reminiscent of other ideas, which are not a blend of 2-3 more ideas. If you have an original idea, it will survive. And then AI will be the tool to enhance it. AI will not be the competitor over there, because you are the one who's providing the original idea. Whatever AI would want to do, it will not be able to come out with a similar idea from somewhere in its own collective knowledge base that AI has. If your idea is original, it will only add to AI. It will not have to borrow from it. So those writers have nothing to worry about. If you have something novel to say, something powerfully radical to say, AI will be your friend. So I think we are living in good times. It's like, before computers are invented, people used to write by hand only. And the typewriter was the one that was able to replicate those copies in a printed format. But when computers came up, we were able to replicate, and that helped, just like the way the printing press was. So this is another phase where we can ride the wave. We can ride the wave using the best of these technological advantages, and leave our brain to do all the original thinking. Our brains are just now free to be used for searching for new ideas in our own minds, rather than trying to grasp it from other writers. So actually, we are in good space just now.
Yes, that's so true. The way you talked about AI and everything, it's just amazing. So, Chhavi ma'am, please share your thoughts.
When I feel it's just so beautiful when we see today's time, happening and, things evolving, even, as Chetan sir did mention about AI and all that stuff. And what Kamal ma'am also talked about in the new writing style, which is coming and evolving. I think writing is going to the next level. I have never ever seen in my life, small kids coming up with their ideas and then they're getting a platform also to pen down their stories and share with the world. What I've realized, the new beautiful change which has come up and everybody's accepting it and liking it, books with pictures. So I feel, like comics and graphic novels are no longer just for kids. Even us, as adults, we are also enjoying them. And they tell deep emotional stories using art and words together. And this amalgamation, words and art together comes a beautiful comprehension. So the same time, the reader is engrossed with the power of words and the visualization also together with it. So I find this blend to be extraordinary, beautiful, and which is also, keeping the audience, the readers hooked, which is so beautiful. So I feel that, these books with drawings can add actually a lot of power to the story. And these visual books are becoming, a more respected form in terms of literature. It's rightly said that sometimes a picture can say more than a paragraph. So yes, I think it's just happening true, and it is coming out to be in such a beautiful way. Stories are becoming little compact, but we all are enjoying them.
That's true, ma'am. So, before we wrap things up, I want to ask all of you about your final thoughts. So, first, let's start with Chhavi ma'am.
Well, my final thought in this, what I've seen is I work very closely with the youngsters, with the kids, with the teenagers, and I've seen that young writers are changing the game now. So even with my youngest author, you'll be surprised that he's just 4 year old and he's written a book about his favorite car because he's obsessed with cars. And the beauty is for everything is mentioned in the book, he has answers for everything. I said, the name of the book is Melody. The name of the car is Melody. I said, why Melody? So he has given me an answer that there's a candy by the name Melody. He loves eating it. So that is why he's named the car as Melody. So this generation, they have answer for every beautiful thing they're just penning down. What I feel is teenagers and even younger kids are writing books and they're sharing their stories online, which is such a beautiful platform. They just write about their feelings, they write about friendships, they write about fears and dreams and things that matter to them. All these things were never into the picture. They were never into the books, how they felt. And today it is all coming up, which is so beautiful. The power of expression is becoming so strong because of course, yes, self-publication and these competitions, the different competitions which comes up where kids are they're allowed to participate. I think their voices are reaching the world. So what I feel is kids don't just read stories now, they write them too. And it is so beautiful, giving this platform to them. They're just enjoying it. So that's my call on this.
Yes, ma'am. That's really a beautiful story that you have shared with us. And Chetan sir, please, you like to add some thoughts?
Yes, I think today's times give us this one chance to see how youngsters are thinking. So I would say that I would like to have my protagonists as youngsters. Some youngsters should lead the story, is what I think, so that we can explore today's world through their eyes, through their mind. That is how I would like to navigate. The second point I would say is our writing should be something which is proactive. Reading, making the reader proactive in the process. It cannot be a pastime. It cannot be a leisurely time, which is passive reading. So the writer has to write in a way that he compels the reader to be a participant in that process of the story. Making him, you have to write spellbinding stories. So their attention span of children today is getting lower and lower, smaller and smaller. So I think the writing has to be evocative enough that the reader feels compelled to stay away from three other distractions that he is into and focus only on the book. Now, how that is done is a part of the experiment that a writer has to do. He has to write in such a way that the reader is engaged and completely captivated by the writing. That is what my process is. So how do I do that? How would I want to do that is by having the character of an age that the reader would be, today's youngster. So if whatever the story, whatever the plot or whatever the plot line, I mean the story, if you are reading a book and you can relate with the protagonist as a person of your own age, you would want to know more about that person. So that is how I would be able to engage with more readers if I have a character who represents them. And then through their eyes, you show whatever story you want to show. This is one dynamic idea that I think I'm using in the next few books. Let's see where that takes us.
Kawal ma'am, please share your thoughts.
Sakshi, I will just like to sum up what in a few words what Chhaviji and Chetanji said. The first is, writing is a journey, so you should enjoy the process. And most importantly, you must be curious. You keep learning. There are a lot of things that are evolving in the literary landscape as we discussed. So it's important that you stay informed and you adapt, learn to adapt. Don't be, and most importantly, write from the heart. Share your unique perspective and do not be afraid to take risks. That would be my final submission. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you everyone for joining me in this podcast and making this podcast memorable. And I'm so grateful that I get to learn so much new thing from you. And thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you, Chhaviji, Chetanji. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.